What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is September 30th of 2017. Well, folks, I know it's been a little while, but I'm finally back in action, and it has never felt better to be creating a video for you all. I'm glad to be back, and I do want to apologize for those of you who don't know as to why I had a little bit of a gap here between creating content. The reason being is because I'm starting a new job out in Palo Alto where I'm at now, and yes, I have a third bedroom now, folks. And I've got to make a third bed. No, I'm just kidding. But it's been great so far. I love the startup that I'm working with out here with my new job. Love the people, the team, the idea. As well as that, I love the weather. It is awesome out here. Coming from the East Coast, it is perfect weather out here. So, that all being said, just want to let you all know, keep you in the know about my personal life and everything. That being said, though, we've got a lot to recap on and really cover in cryptocurrency. So I thought I might as well do a market recap. And it's about time. It's Saturday, so we got to get on this. We're a little bit behind schedule. So that being said, let's dive into it and really talk about the general sense of things. And we'll also look at some specific leaders and cryptocurrencies we've kept on our radar. First thing I want to talk about is the general market of things, and generally Bitcoin. A lot of you have been asking me, Nick, is this time to buy in? Is this time to start building my portfolio positions again? A lot of you have been panicking, saying, Nick, we need to get your opinion and stuff. I know I've been kind of disconnected over the past few days, but I want to give you a resounding yes. We are in bull market territory, folks. The price action, at least to me, this is of course my opinion, it looks right now like it's looking for a third bull run. And it looks like it's about to come in stronger than ever before, so long as we can bump up the volume. So, the reason why I'm going to say this is for two things, and I've been talking about these on my videos and live streams. First, primarily, was the 200-hour on Bitcoin. I told you all if it can't remain above that 200-hour, it's going to continue down. But it came back up above it, and it's been maintaining strong ever since. So, Bitcoin's holding out strong, doing well. The second confirmation that I want to mention to you all, and I've mentioned in previous videos, but I'm going to reiterate, is generally with pullbacks in the market. For example, let's go back here to the one in June. We had the initial pullback and then a rebound. Now, after each rebound, you're going to have a slight correction. You're going to have a slight pullback in price action. It's not just going to continue to rally like that. It simply has a nice pullback, nothing deadly to the price of cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin, but something where at least a little bit of sense comes back in the price action. It sees if it can hold the majority of the price action that it just regained. And what happens is you'll see a slow pullback and a slow uptick back, and once it gets above that level, you see a continuation of the uptrend. We had exactly that, folks. We've already passed it, and now we're going to higher levels. We're sitting right now at a valuation of 147 billion. So markets are getting optimistic again, and it's time to start looking to see if there's some cheap ICOs, some cheap players out in the market right now, and maybe even just Bitcoin and the leaders that might be good holdings over the next few weeks or months. So, that being said, I'm optimistic, folks. I want to make that clear to you all. I've got a lot of altcoin positions right now. We've been doing great on a lot of them. And we'll continue to go through and look at a few of these individual players as we go through the video. First thing I want to talk about is Ethereum. Now, I know a lot of you have asked me about Ethereum and with all the things with Metropolis. Folks, I got to tell you, as much as I think Metropolis is going to do fine, as much as I think Proof of Stake isn't going to hurt Ethereum long term, there's a lot of factors that go into determining the price of Ethereum. I gotta say, this comparative price action of Bitcoin is not too good. Now, to be fair, Bitcoin has been on a rally over the past few days. It's been doing very good. However, Ethereum right now is not holding its position when it had the opportunity above the 200-day and has collapsed below the opportunity to hold the 50-day. So, the 50-day is right now crossing the 200-day, and that is the opposite of a golden cross. That is a bad cross. That is not good when you have the 50-day crossing over the 200-day. So, again, keep in mind this is definitely a worrisome sign in the sense of price action. Now, I'm not bearish on Ethereum long term. I just think that we might see a little more downside. If things do not go well with Metropolis, we might have to gain support at one of the resistance levels previously for Ethereum. But if we generally hold this level around here, a little bit below the 700,000 Satoshi level, if we can generally hold in that area, it might be a good area to add, especially if Metropolis starts gaining some traction and people are enjoying the updates. So again, you got to really see, you got to think, if you're long-term, if you're really long-term on Ethereum and you're not trying to swing trade, I think these levels are fine. You're getting it at a nice Bitcoin comparative pullback. But again, it's seeing whether or not it's going to keep up with Bitcoin. And keeping below those moving averages is not a good sign. Next one I want to look at is Ripple. So again, we've been keeping Ripple on our radar. Right now, it's being weighed down by the 50-day, which I do not like. Again, a lot of these leaders in the market right now that were supposed to show signs of strength are not doing it right now. Ripple is being held down by the 50-day. And when it had its opportunity back here, it really couldn't maintain its gains over the 50-day and 200-day, which it needed to do. If it could have come up here, continue to run up, and then curved along the 200-day, Ripple would be going to new highs, in my opinion. I think it would be, or maybe not new highs, but it would be going to new highs for the past few weeks. It would have had a nice rally up to this area around 10,000 Satoshis, but sadly, I just don't think we're going to see that right now. As much as there's a lot of optimism over the next few months with Ripple, I think we might see maybe a double bottom confirmation come down here, especially if Bitcoin continues to rally up. So again, I'm not too optimistic on Ripple comparative to Bitcoin, but I think long term it's still a great hold. You're buying it much more on the lower end here. So again, keep that in mind whether or not you're playing as a trader or for the long run. Now, I know a lot of you have also been keeping an eye on Litecoin. We did a video on Litecoin recently talking about whether or not it was a good time to buy. In the USD comparative, it's pretty much down. It was at least down 50% the other day. And I think that, comparative to Bitcoin, you've really got to see, if you really want to hold this comparative to Bitcoin and try to beat out Bitcoin, you've really got to see a hold at this level right here. You've got to see this hold support. If it can't, and if it breaks through, you're going to see a revisit of 1 million Satoshis most likely. It's just simple technical price action. And it generally is looking like it's just repeating the past. We had the run up here, sell side, run up here, and it seems like we just couldn't get that second run up to the 2100 Satoshi level at the peak like we've seen in the past. So again, keep in mind that this could continue down. And one thing that I have heard from people, and I've been seeing this for a long time, but I haven't mentioned it, is that Litecoin looks like it's kind of forming a head and shoulders. Now, this is a very long, drawn-out head and shoulders, so I don't know if you could really, head and shoulders are usually much more of a shorter term, usually within a month. This has been over April to October, so I don't know if we could really deem this as a head and shoulders. Not to mention, its USD has been killing it. It's just that, keeping up with Bitcoin's hard, so... Again, I don't know if this would be considered a head and shoulders. The main sign you want to look for, though, is if this is going to hold right here. If this doesn't, then we're most likely going to see at least a pullback down to 1 million Satoshis. If that happens, keep an eye on it. That's going to be very good. Again, Litecoin's been doing very well on the fundamental side recently. As we talked about atomic swaps recently, they had a very successful announcement with that. So again, keep an eye on Litecoin. If you can get it at a discount anywhere under around 1,100,000 Satoshis, I mean, that's just a huge discount on Litecoin. All right, so next one, I've been wanting to talk about this, Neo, folks. Again, I'll be honest with you all and fair. We tried to initially buy Neo up here, and then we had, a lot of the news come out in China, and it scared a lot of investors. The one thing I did tell you all, as much as I will be fair in that regard, I did not call the bottom on it. I said, do not panic sell. Buy when there is fear in the streets. If nothing has fundamentally changed, don't worry. Buy when people are getting fearful and sell when people are getting greedy. And folks, I not only added my position down here. Neo is one of my largest altcoin positions. Actually, I think it is my largest altcoin position that I at least am running through Bittrex. And it has had a fantastic run-up. So, again, we're making good profit right here, folks. We're doing very nice. And Neo on the USD side is back around $32, almost $33. So again, it's been keeping up with Bitcoin. It's been outbeating Bitcoin. It's been doing really great against Bitcoin. So again, take a look at the weekly. You tell me, does this look like this is going to topple over, or is this looking to go for the next bull run? I think it's going for the next bull run. I think the fears are gone. Neo is going to start getting the volume like it got over here. Maybe not as strong a volume, but we will definitely see an increase in volume, in my opinion. And it did what it needed to do. It held 500,000 Satoshis. We talked about this on my channel. We said 500,000 Satoshis. If it generally breaks away from there to the downside, okay, we'll be fair in saying that the fear might be real with Neo, and this might be a time to get out and give up on it. But price action didn't give up, folks. What is previous resistance usually tends to become support, and it did. So, again, Neo longs, congratulations. This has been an awesome trade so far. And actually, well, not trade. I think we're doing long-term investing for the most part. So, again, keep an eye on it, and we'll have to see how it goes. Right now, I've been seeing that ADDX has been killing it. Now, To be fair here, I noticed I'm looking at the Ethereum equivalent. But again, this is doing very well. More than doubling. I don't know what's happening. It might just be the confidence coming back into Neo. I haven't looked too heavily into ADDX, but if there's enough interest around it, I will definitely do a video covering it in the next few days, see what's up with ADDX. And hopefully, what we've been talking about doing for the longest time is doing an interview with the ADDX team. I had one of my early supporters, Gerber, had mentioned that he was in connections with the ADDX team and wanted to do, asked me if I wanted to do an interview. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, this was even back before it had its run up and had the Neo announcement. So again, ADDX looks pretty good, and I like the volume coming in, especially after a lot of days of just being kind of dead. But again, ADDX is pretty much, it's more of a long-term play. You could swing it, but I wouldn't try swing trading it after it having over 100% run-up. You all know how I'm about that. So next up, we want to take a look at 10x. So 10x has been killing it. I added to my position once we had the pullback here on the 21st after its initial first run up, and after it had the pullback, I got in and I've been up on my trade so far. I've been doing pretty good. Again, as so long as it holds this 21 day, this is the momentum mover right here. If it holds the 21 day and safely gets above this 50 day, I'm going to be extremely confident on 10x. I think we're going to see continued growth. I think they need more headlines, more news coming out. That's really what drove this uptrend. And again, it's holding fine. I mean, for the long term of things, I think this was anywhere down here is a great level to add, in my opinion. Putting my money where my mouth is. I bought a position down here. And I think we could easily see the Bitcoin comparative come back up to these highs at least. I'm very long-term on 10x. I think so long as adoption of crypto continues, 10x is the leader right now for card payment solutions. So again, keep it on your radar and keep a level-headed approach with it and really see if you think 10x could really take off long-term. If you do think that, then consider getting down at these lows. I think it's very cheap. Next, I want to talk about Omise Go because I've gotten reached out about this by a lot of people in my community, and I'm telling you all the exact same thing as I've been thinking about for the past few weeks. Omise Go needs pullback. It does. It needs a continuation on the pullback. It's way overextended. Now, I love the project. There's tons of news coming out for it. Lots of optimism coming around Omise Go. But right now, folks, it needs a pullback. It's simply common in markets. So, and this is great, though, because if we can get Omise Go on the pullback, it has already gone through some of it, which is good, which means we're getting this at a 70,000 Satoshi discount. If you're buying up here, I mean, you were paying way too much. Now you're paying 70,000 Satoshis less for each Omise Go you want to buy. But I think you could pay even less. I think not only are we going to break through the 50-day here, to be honest, I think we're going to go somewhere down here to this level over here where we found support previously. And if we can do that, I mean, that would be awesome. Okay, actually, sorry, I didn't mean that level down there. I meant to say around 200,000 Satoshis, yes, where we've seen previous pullbacks before. Now, of course, we have our Omise Go trade planned. If you want to go watch my video on that, I recommend you go check it. Not too much has changed, but generally, you're going to see it come down in this range, okay? I think a breach of the 50 days needed at this point. It needs a stellar pullback because this is more than 10x since its ICO, folks. We have to be a little bit fair. As much as we're optimistic on the project, I mean, this has had a ridiculous run-up. And with every ridiculous, exuberant run-up, all the difference can be made up in just a few days, okay? So wait to see some serious sell-side action, which we haven't seen yet. Wait for the volume to pour in. Wait for the fear to hit the streets, and then you buy in. Simple strategy, but it works so much of the time. All right, everyone, last up on the list is Quantum. I know you all have been mentioning Quantum because we talked about a potential double bottom coming in on the price action. And so far, the double bottom has been confirmed on price action. And I think that this could be a very good level to buy, especially with a lot of the China funding slowly starting to evaporate, as we've seen with Neo. Quantum is just as steady of a competitor, and I think it's something you should watch, to be fair. As much as I'm a big fan of Neo over Quantum, I think Quantum could definitely go up at these levels. And we could easily get back up into this range. If you get around 400,000 Satoshis, that's a fantastic return from where it is right now. So I don't want to downplay Quantum. I think it really could be a good play here. And we've generally, if you take a look here, take the segment tool, we're almost seeing a descending wedge. And if you all keep up with our technical analysis, oops, gotta see if I can get that back there. If you all know about technical analysis, a descending wedge is actually a very bullish pattern. So again, this could be very well for definitely a watch list item to watch over the next week or so and see if this really starts to gain some traction and some volume. Again, though, we need to see some good volume pour into this to really confirm the descending wedge and really see if we can get an outbreak towards the previous highs. If that's the case, there's a lot to be returned with quantum. But again, I'm not holding a position right now. I am in NEO, but I'm definitely considering a position down here in quantum. It looks pretty good. But again, I want to go back to the general market of things to wrap things up. I really want to say, folks, we've got to see a continuation of volume, but right now the price action is looking bullish. I don't know if this is going to be the last big run-up before we get a large bear market or correction, because eventually we're going to need to get that, folks. Right now, though, it is bull market. It's time to get a little bit greedy. Start finding things at lows, because right now we're not past, we haven't even passed our previous highs. So things are cheap right now. Think of it as if we were down here, okay? Right past the kind of rebound highs, and we've still got all this ways to go for more upside on this uptrend. So again, find the cheap players, find winners that have been returning good in your portfolio, hold on to those winners, and maybe trade some players that have been oversold ever since their ICO phase. We've got a lot of great ICOs coming up to market, some of which have been kind of from the June-July period, and some of them that have just recently launched, like Walton Coin and I think it's Link Chain, have been doing fantastic. So again, there's a lot of players out there to keep an eye on, and I'm definitely going to be doing videos as much as I can to start covering some of those ICOs, as well as a certain trade that I'm watching right now. However, folks, that's going to have to remain for the next video. Until then, everyone, I will see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.